Hello and welcome to The Real Film. We are here to provide you with a list of the best 10 thriller mystery movies of all time. Now let's start the video. Number 10. Inception. Inception is a 2010 science fiction action film written and directed by Christopher Nolan, who also produced the film with Emma Thomas, his wife. The film stars Leonardo DiCaprio as a professional thief who steals information by infiltrating the subconscious of his targets. He is offered a chance to have his criminal history erased as payment for the implantation of another person's idea into a target's subconscious. Inception's premiere was held in London on July 8, 2010. It was released in both conventional and IMAX theaters beginning on July 16, 2010. Inception grossed over $828 million worldwide, becoming the fourth highest-grossing film of 2010. Considered one of the best films of the 2010s, Inception won 4 Academy Awards: Best Cinematography, Best Sound Editing, Best Sound Mixing, and Best Visual Effects, and was nominated for 4 more: Best Picture, Best Original Screenplay, Best Art Direction, and Best Original Score. On Rotten Tomatoes, the film holds an approval rating of 87% based on 361 reviews, with an average rating of 8.1. Number 9. Vertigo. Vertigo is a 1958 American film noir psychological thriller film directed and produced by Alfred Hitchcock. The story was based on the 1954 novel D'entre les morts, From Among the Dead, by Boileau Narcejac. The screenplay was written by Alec Koppel and Samuel A. Taylor. The film stars James Stewart as former police detective John Scotty Ferguson, who is retired because an incident in the line of duty has caused him to develop acrophobia, an extreme fear of heights, and vertigo, a false sense of rotational movement. Scotty is hired by an acquaintance, Gavin Elster, as a private investigator to follow Gavin's wife Madeline, Kim Novak, who is behaving strangely. Vertigo premiered in San Francisco on May 9, 1958, at the Stage Door Theater at Mason and Geary, now the August Hall nightclub. On review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes, the film holds an approval rating of 93% based on 87 reviews, with an average rating of 8.8. Number 8. Rear Window. Rear Window is a 1954 American mystery thriller film directed by Alfred Hitchcock and written by John Michael Hayes based on Cornell Woolrich's 1942 short story It Had to Be Murder. Originally released by Paramount Pictures, the film stars James Stewart, Grace Kelly, Wendell Corey, Thelma Ritter, and Raymond Burr. It was screened at the 1954 Venice Film Festival. Rear Window is considered by many filmgoers, critics, and scholars to be one of Hitchcock's best and one of the greatest films ever made. It received 4 Academy Award nominations and was ranked number 42 on AFI's 100 Years, 100 Movies list and number 48 on the 10th Anniversary Edition, and in 1997 was added to the United States National Film Registry in the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. The review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes reports an approval rating of 98% based on 124 reviews, with an average rating of 9.20. Number 7. Memento. Memento is a 2000 American neo-noir psychological thriller film written and directed by Christopher Nolan, and produced by Suzanne and Jennifer Todd. The film's script was based on a pitch by Nolan's brother Jonathan Nolan, who wrote the 2001 story Memento Mori from the concept. Guy Pearce stars as Leonard Shelby, a man who suffers from anterograde amnesia, resulting in short-term memory loss and the inability to form new memories. He is searching for the people who attacked him and killed his wife, using an intricate system of Polaroid photographs and tattoos to track information he cannot remember. Carrie Ann Moss and Joe Pantoliano were the co-stars of the film. The film's non-linear narrative is presented as 2 different sequences of scenes interspersed during the film, a series in black and white that is shown chronologically, and a series of color sequences shown in reverse order, simulating for the audience the mental state of the protagonist. The 2 sequences meet at the end of the film, producing one complete and cohesive narrative. Memento premiered at the 57th Venice International Film Festival on September 5, 2000, and was released in the United States on March 16, 2001. On review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes, the film received an approval rating of 93% based on 179 reviews, with an average rating of 8.3. Number 6. The Sixth Sense. The Sixth Sense is a 1999 American psychological thriller film written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan. It stars Bruce Willis as a child psychologist whose patient, Haley Joel Osment, claims he can see and talk to the dead. Released by Buena Vista Pictures, through its Hollywood Pictures label, on August 6, 1999, critics praised its performances, particularly those of Willis, Osment, and Toni Collette, atmosphere, direction and plot twist. It was nominated for 6 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Director and Best Original Screenplay for Shyamalan, Best Supporting Actor for Osment, and Best Supporting Actress for Collette. Number 5. The Usual Suspects. The Usual Suspects is a 1995 neo-noir mystery film directed by Bryan Singer and written by Christopher McQuarrie. It stars Stephen Baldwin, Gabriel Byrne, Benicio del Toro, Kevin Pollak, Chaz Palminteri, Pete Postlethwaite, and Kevin Spacey. The plot follows the interrogation of Roger Verbal Kint, a small-time con man, who is one of only 2 survivors of a massacre and fire on a ship docked at the port of Los Angeles. Through flashback and narration, Kint tells an interrogator a convoluted story of events that led him and his criminal companions to the boat, and of a mysterious crime lord, known as Kaiser Soze, who controlled them. Gramercy ran a pre-release promotion and advertising campaign before The Usual Suspects opened in the summer of 1995. Word-of-mouth marketing was used to advertise the film, and buses and billboards were plastered with the simple question, "Who is Kaiser Soze?" The film was shown out of competition at the 1995 Cannes Film Festival and was well received by audiences and critics. On Rotten Tomatoes, the film has received a rating of 88%, based on 81 reviews, with an average rating of 7.80. Number 4. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is a 2011 neo-noir psychological thriller film based on the 2005 novel by Swedish writer Stieg Larsson. It was directed by David Fincher with a screenplay by Steven Zaillian. Starring Daniel Craig as journalist Mikael Blomkvist and Rooney Mara as Lisbeth Salander, it tells the story of Blomkvist's investigation to find out what happened to a girl from a wealthy family who disappeared 40 years prior. He recruits the help of Salander, a computer hacker. The film premiered at Odeon Leicester Square in London on December 12, 2011. Review aggregation website Rotten Tomatoes reported an approval rating of 86% based on 256 reviews, with an average rating of 7.6. Number 3. Seven. Seven is a 1995 American crime thriller film directed by David Fincher and written by Andrew Kevin Walker. It stars Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, Gwyneth Paltrow, and John C. McGinley. Set in a crime-ridden, unnamed city, Seven's plot follows disenchanted, near-retirement detective William Somerset Freeman, and his new partner, the recently transferred David Mills Pitt, as they attempt to stop a serial killer before he can complete a series of murders based on the 7 deadly sins. Seven received 1 nomination at the 68th Academy Awards for Best Editing, Richard Francis Bruce, and Walker was nominated for Best Original Screenplay at the 49th British Academy Film Awards. At the MTV Movie Awards, Seven received 3 awards: Best Movie, Most Desirable Male, Pitt, and Best Villain, Spacey. Number 2. Psycho. Psycho is a 1960 American psychological horror thriller film produced and directed by Alfred Hitchcock. The screenplay, written by Joseph Stefano, was based on the 1959 novel of the same name by Robert Bloch. The film stars Anthony Perkins, Janet Leigh, Vera Miles, John Gavin, and Martin Balsam. The plot centers on an encounter between on-the-run embezzler Marion Crane, Leigh, and Shy Motel proprietor Norman Bates, Perkins, and its aftermath, in which a private investigator, Balsam, Marion's lover Sam Loomis, Gavin, and her sister Lila, Miles, investigate her disappearance. Psycho is now considered one of Hitchcock's best films, and is arguably his most famous work. It has been praised as a major work of cinematic art by international film critics and scholars due to its slick direction, dense atmosphere, impressive camera work, a memorable score and iconic performances. Often ranked among the greatest films of all time, it set a new level of acceptability for violence, deviant behavior and sexuality in American films, and is widely considered to be one of the earliest examples of the slasher film genre. The film was released on June 16, 1960, at the DeMille Theater and the Baronet Theater in New York City. On the review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, Psycho has an approval rating of 96% based on 109 reviews, with an average score of 9.20. Number 1. The Silence of the Lambs. The Silence of the Lambs is a 1991 American psychological horror film directed by Jonathan Demme and written by Ted Talley, adapted from Thomas Harris's 1988 novel. It stars Jodie Foster as Clarice Starling, a young FBI trainee who is hunting a serial killer, Buffalo Bill, Ted Levine, who skins his female victims. To catch him, she seeks the advice of the imprisoned Dr. Hannibal Lecter, Anthony Hopkins, a brilliant psychiatrist and cannibalistic serial killer. The film also features performances from Scott Glenn, Anthony Heald, and Casey Lemons. The Silence of the Lambs is regularly cited by critics, film directors and audiences as one of the greatest and most influential films. The Silence of the Lambs was released on February 14, 1991, grossing almost $14 million from 1,497 theaters over the four-day President's Day weekend, placing it number 1 at the U.S. box office. It remained at number 1 for 5 weeks. The American Film Institute ranked it the 5th greatest and most influential thriller film, while Starling and Lecter were ranked among the greatest film heroines and villains. The film is considered culturally, historically or aesthetically significant by the U.S. Library of Congress and was selected for preservation in the National Film Registry in 2011. That's it for today. Thank you for watching this video, and do subscribe to our channel and see more videos related to all-time great classic videos suggestions.